Welcome to this episode of Sexpertise. My voice still isn't 100% there, but these episodes mean a lot to me and I feel like it brings value to you. So thank you for joining me this evening. So today we are continuing our conversation of desire. Last week we talked about the science of desire, and this is, I guess you could say, the second half of that conversation. And so tonight we're diving deep into this type of topic, which touches all of us, and that's journey from desire to connection. Desire often ignites the initial spark, but connection is what sustains intimacy in meaningful and lasting ways. So, throughout this episode, I'll guide you through understanding these layers of intimacy so that you clarity. So, whether you're single, dating, or in a long term partnership, the insights here will help you build healthier connections that honor both your heart and your needs. Intimacy it's a spectrum that goes beyond just physical attraction. It includes emotional, intellectual, and even spiritual dimensions, all of which combine to create a rich and fulfilling experience with another person. This episode will explore how desire and connection interact and sometimes get confused in our really fast paced world. By becoming aware of these distinctions, you'll be better equipped to create relationships that feel safe, authentic, and deeply satisfying. So let's get started on this journey from the initial spark of desire to the enduring warmth of connection. I want to invite you to reflect as we move through these ideas. Think about your own experiences and how desire and connection have played roles in your relationships. Consider what intimacy means to you personally and how intention can shift your experience. This episode is all about helping you bring mindfulness to your intimate life and ultimately enhancing your ability to connect on all levels. Thank you for being here with me today. So, when we talk intimacy, it's important to recognize that it exists in multiple levels. Physical intimacy is the most visible and often the first that comes to mind. It includes sexual contact and physical closeness. But intimacy also happens emotionally when we share our feelings, our fears, and dreams with someone else. Intellectual intimacy happens through deep conversations and shared ideas, while spiritual intimacy may involve a sense of shared values that connect us beyond the everyday. Healthy relationships weave all of these threads together, creating a rich tapestry of connection. Desire is often described as a spark that ignites the fire, but connection is the sustaining flame that keeps it alive. While desire can be intense and immediate, it's usually fleeting if it's not accompanied by deeper level of intimacy. Connection requires time. It requires trust and mutual. It grows when two people are willing to be vulnerable, listen actively, and respect each other's needs. This distinction between desire and connection is critical. Confusing one for the other can lead to misunderstandings and disappointment. Building intimacy takes intention. It's not just something that happens by chance or when the chemistry feels right. True intimacy requires us to slow down, to be present, and to engage beyond the surface level. It means checking in with ourselves and our partners about what we want and what we need emotionally, intellectually, and physically. When we do this work, intimacy becomes a source of safety and fulfillment rather than stress and confusion. Desire is often immediate and powerful. As I said before, it grabs our attention and can overwhelm our senses. Lust is a biological response tied to attraction, hormone, and physical cues. While desire can be exciting and thrilling, it often happens without a deeper thought or consideration of emotional compatibility. We've all been there. It's important to recognize that desire is just one part of the story. Without connection, desire alone can lead to fleeting encounters that might leave us feeling empty or unfulfilled. Connection, on the other hand, is cultivated over time. It requires mutual presence and attention. Unlike desire, which may be sparked by physical attraction or fantasy, I talked about that in the last episode about fantasy. Connection involves understanding and accepting the whole person. All right. So, not just the physical attraction, but accepting their strengths, their vulnerabilities, and their unique qualities. Real connection grows through shared experiences, consistent communication. You guys know how much I love communication, and emotional availability. It's about being truly seen and heard, which can't be rushed or faked. One of the challenges that we face is that lust and desire can sometimes completely mask our deeper emotional needs. For example, we may seek out desire to avoid loneliness or to escape uncomfortable feelings. When we confuse desire with connection, we may stay in relationships or encounters that don't actually support our emotional well being. And recognizing the difference allows us to make choices that honor our whole selves and lead to healthier, more satisfying relationships. So, why do we end up confusing the two? In today's media saturated culture, desire is often portrayed as the same thing as love or connection, which it is not. Movies, TV shows, and social media celebrate lust and instant attraction and romantic idealization. This constant messaging can distort our expectations, making us believe that intense physical chemistry automatically just means that we have a deep emotional bond. Unfortunately, this can lead to confusion when real life relationships don't actually match these idealized portrayals. Trauma and attachment styles also play a significant role on how we experience desire and connection. For example, people with an anxious attachment may chase desire to feel validation, while avoidant attachment may prioritize physical distance over emotional closeness. Those are two very different attachment styles. Past wounds and unmet needs can blur the line between desire and connection, making it hard to discern what is truly satisfying. This is why self awareness and healing are such crucial components of developing healthy intimacy. Additionally, The fast pace of modern dating culture encourages surface level bonds. We have swipe apps, we have casual hookups, fleeting encounters, which can make it difficult to slow down and build a real connection. We can get caught up in the rush of desire, missing the opportunity to develop trust and emotional safety. Recognizing these cultural pressures is an important step toward reclaiming intentional intimacy in our own lives. At the core of any deep connection is emotional safety. Without feeling safe, it's nearly impossible to be vulnerable and open with another person. Emotional safety means you trust that your feelings will be honored, your boundaries are respected, and your true self is accepted without judgment. That's what being emotionally safe means. When this foundation is in place, intimacy can grow authentically and sustainably. Vulnerability is often seen as a sign of weakness, but in reality, it is a courageous act that requires an immense amount of trust. It really cannot be rushed or forced. Healthy relationships allow space for vulnerability to emerge naturally over time. If you push someone too quickly to reveal their inner world, that can backfire and create distance instead of closeness. So, respecting each other's pace and boundaries is essential to maintaining emotional safety. When emotional safety is established, partners can then communicate openly, share fears and desires, and support each other's growth. This environment nurtures authentic connection because both will feel secure enough to be their full selves. In this way, safety and vulnerability work hand in hand to deepen intimacy beyond that surface level. Now, my favorite part, communication. Communication is often described as foreplay, and man, for me, it really is. But it's often described as foreplay because it sets the stage for intimate level. Both verbal and nonverbal cues send powerful messages about interest, boundaries, and comfort. Paying attention to these signals helps create a dance of mutual understanding before physical contact even begins. When communication is open and attentive, it builds anticipation and trust that enriches the entire experience. So, asking rather than assuming is key in any intimate exchange. Consent isn't just a one time checkbox, it's an ongoing dynamic. Checking in with your partner about their comfort and desires ensures that both of you are on the same page. This respectful approach honors autonomy and fosters a safer space for vulnerability and connection to unfold. Curiosity rather than judgment creates an inviting environment where both people feel free to express themselves honestly. Curiosity is one of the most important tools for building connection. Curiosity, not judgment. All right, get the difference here. When you genuinely want to understand your partner's feelings, your partner's needs, and their boundaries, you deepen the emotional bond. Asking open-ended questions, listening without interruption, and reflecting back what you hear are always to show you care. This kind of engaged communication makes intimacy so richer and more meaningful, moving beyond mere physical desire. Can you tell communication is just it's my foreplay, that's for sure. All right, so red flags. We're going to talk about red and green flags. So when it comes to red flags, sometimes desire can blind us to warning signs in relationships. One major red flag is love bombing. When someone overwhelms you with affection and flattery early on to gain control or fast track the relationship, that's a big one. While it may feel exciting at first, it often masks unhealthy patterns like manipulation or lack of genuine emotional investment. Recognizing this behavior early helps protect your emotional well-being. Another common issue is ignoring incompatibility simply because of strong chemistry. Physical attraction can be intoxicating, but if your values, communication styles, or life goals don't align, desire alone won't sustain a healthy partnership. Ignoring these mismatches may lead to frustration and heartbreak later. It's important to honor both your heart and your mind by evaluating the entire picture. Many people experience the emotional roller coaster of feeling euphoric and connected during moments of desire, only to feel empty or abandoned afterward. And this cycle can reinforce anxious or avoidant patterns that keep us stuck in an unhealthy dynamic. So awareness awareness of these emotional patterns is the first step to breaking free and moving toward relationships that are grounded in true connection rather than fleeting highs. So let's discuss some of our green flags. While red flags may warn us of danger, green flags guide us toward healthy intimacy. Consistent communication is one of the strongest green flags, showing that both partners are committed to staying connected emotionally as well as physically. When communication is regular, honest, and respectful, it creates a solid foundation for deeper connection and trust to flourish. Shared values and willingness to be vulnerable are equally important. When you and your partner align on fundamental beliefs and are open about your fears and your hopes, it creates a powerful sense of unity. Vulnerability invites empathy and understanding, which enriches both desire and emotional intimacy. These qualities transform desire from a momentary spark into a lasting flame. Healthy desire deepens over time rather than just spiking and fading away quickly. It becomes infused with meaning and care, responding to the emotional bond you've nurtured together. Desire that aligns with emotional depth feels more satisfying and safe because it reflects a mutual commitment to growth and connection. Recognizing and cultivating these green flags supports relationships that thrive on all levels. All right. Sex without connection. Sex without connection can sometimes fulfill physical needs, but it'll often leave us with emotional needs that are unmet. Physical satisfaction is important, don't get me wrong. I believe that it is important, but it's not the same as emotional fulfillment. Without connection, sex can feel mechanical or hollow, leaving one or both parties longing for something deeper. Understanding this distinction helps us evaluate what we truly want from intimate encounters. Many people report feelings of regret, loneliness, or emptiness after having sex without that emotional connection. These feelings can arise from unmet desires for closeness or validation. Sometimes these encounters reinforce unhealthy patterns, such as seeking external approval or avoid vulnerability altogether. Awareness of these risks allows you to make more intentional choices about when and with whom you share intimacy. Additionally, engaging in sex without connection can deepen avoidant or anxious attachment patterns. Let me explain. For avoidant individuals, it may reinforce emotional distancing, while for anxious types, it may increase feelings of insecurity. And healing these patterns often requires intentional work on emotional safety and connection. Sex can be a powerful act of intimacy, but when disconnected, it can also highlight areas needing growth. Conscious hookups. Could they work? Technically, a conscious hookup is a sexual encounter approached with intention and awareness, rather than purely impulsive desire. They involve honesty about what each person wants and clear communication of boundaries and expectations. When both partners share mutual understanding, these experiences can then be respectful and satisfying without necessarily leading to deeper emotional connection. So there's a way to do it, right? However, conscious hookups require emotional maturity and self-awareness from everyone involved. That is the biggest point here. Okay, if you want to have a conscious hookup, you need to understand your own needs and limits and be able to communicate them effectively. This also means being able to manage your emotions and expectations, which isn't always easy in a casual encounter. When done thoughtfully, conscious hookups can be an empowering way to explore desire safely. Even within casual sex, it's possible to cultivate respect and presence. This means being fully engaged in the moment, honoring your partner's experience, and practicing aftercare if needed. When we approach hookups with this level of care, they can contribute positively to our sexual well-being. Conscious hookups challenge the assumption that casual sex must be disconnected or harmful. It doesn't have to be. Intentional intimacy. This is the practice of engaging with others in ways that prioritize awareness, consent, and mutual care. It begins with presence, being fully in the moment without distractions from phones, stress, or external pressures. When you bring your full attention to your partner and the experience, intimacy will naturally deepen. This presence invites both people to feel seen and valued. Before engaging in intimacy, it's essential to know your own needs and boundaries. This self-awareness helps you communicate clearly and choose partners and situations that support your well-being. Intentional intimacy means you don't just react to desire, but make conscious choices about what feels right for you emotionally, physically, and mentally. This approach is going to reduce misunderstandings and it's going to enhance connection. Practicing aftercare and continued communication is another hallmark of intentional intimacy. Aftercare, which we don't talk about enough, can include so many things. It can include physical comfort, it can include emotional check-ins, or simply just spending quiet time together to process the experience. Ongoing communication ensures that both partners continue to feel safe and supported beyond the immediate encounter. Intentional intimacy it's an ongoing practice rather than a one-time event. All right, cultural norms. So we have to discuss culture because we all come from different cultures, different societal expectations, and things of that nature. Cultural norms do shape how we understand and express desire. Often, often in conflicting ways. I think many societies promote, well, there are many societies that promote purity culture, which stigmatizes sexual desire, especially outside of traditional contexts like marriage. On the other hand, some cultures and media push hypersexuality, encouraging constant stimulation and uh, let's see, constant stimulation and kind of highlighting the commodity of sex. You know what I mean? So both extremes can create shame and confusion about what healthy desire looks like. Reclaiming agency over your desires means stepping beyond these limiting narratives so that you can define your own relationship with sexuality. It involves recognizing that desire is natural and valid regardless of societal expectations or judgment. This process often requires healing internalized shame because we all have it and building a positive sexual self-image. When you claim your agency, you empower yourself to seek intimacy on your own terms. Healthy sexual expression without shame will allow you to enjoy desire as a joyful and authentic part of your humanity. This means embracing your needs and boundaries openly and seeking partners who respect them. It also means rejecting harmful labels and stereotypes that don't serve your well being. By shifting cultural attitudes and personal beliefs, you create space for more fulfilling and genuine intimacy. Excuse me. I told you my voice is not all there. So every now and then while I'm talking, it almost feels like I am uh, forcing my voice. So I apologize for that. But thank you for sticking with me. So now let's talk about our intimacy blueprint. We want to rewrite it. Our early experiences with intimacy and attachment often shape what we expect from relationships later in life. Fortunately and unfortunately, some of us grow up just thinking certain ways and then it just completely affects our relationships later. And yeah, it could be pretty difficult to navigate. So rewriting your intimacy blueprint means reflecting on those past patterns, including any unmet emotional needs or unhealthy dynamics that you may have internalized. This reflection helps you become aware of unconscious habits that influence your current relationships. Therapy, journaling, and safe experimentation are powerful tools for this process. Therapy offers a structured and supportive environment to explore emotional wounds and develop healthier coping strategies. Journaling, while it's not for everyone, It can allow for personal insight and tracking progress over time. Safe experimentation involves trying new ways of relating and communicating, testing boundaries, and discovering what feels authentic for you. Ultimately, rewriting your intimacy blueprint is about identifying what intimacy truly means to you beyond cultural and familial conditioning. It's a personalized process that honors your unique needs and desires. And this intentional approach helps you build relationships that support your growth and fulfillment on all levels. So, to cultivate more intentional intimacy, start by practicing mindfulness in your dating and sexual experiences. This means being fully present, noticing your feelings and sensations without judgment, and slowing down when needed. Mindfulness helps you recognize what you want and don't want, making it easier to make choices that align with your well being. Creating regular intimacy check ins with partners is another effective step. These conversations can include discussing how you feel about your connection, what's working, and what needs attention. Check ins foster ongoing communication and adjustment, preventing misunderstandings and strengthening your bond. They create space for mutual growth and deeper connection. Finally, prioritizing alignment over urgency. It's easy to rush. It's easy to rush into intimacy driven by desire or pressure, but intentional connection takes time. We're bringing it back full circle to the beginning of this episode. Waiting until you and your partner are emotionally and energetically aligned often results in a more satisfying and sustainable relationship. Patience and discernment are key ingredients in building intimacy that lasts. As we conclude this episode, remember that desire is a powerful guide that signals what we crave, but it's not the final destination. True intimacy unfolds over time through curiosity, communication, and care. I should put that on a t-shirt. The 3 C's: curiosity, communication, and care. It's a journey of discovery about yourself and your partner that enriches your life in profound ways. I invite you to reflect on your own experiences with desire and connection. What patterns serve you, and which might you want to rewrite? How can you bring more intentionality into your intimate relationships? Taking these steps can transform how you experience desire and intimacy, leading to more authentic and fulfilling connections. Please feel free to share your thoughts, questions, or experiences with me on social media or Patreon. Your journey matters, and by engaging in these conversations, we build a community. I have communication stuck on my mind still. Your journey matters to me. And by engaging in these conversations, we build a community dedicated to healthy, conscious intimacy. Thank you for joining me tonight on Sexpertise.